Hello, everyone, and welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is June Liu. How you doing, June?
Doing well.
So today we are talking about the Hoyo de Monterrey Hoyo La Amistad Robusto. This is a 5-inch by 54 ring gauge cigar. Comes out of the Tabacalera Fernandez factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano. Binder and filter are both listed as from Nicaragua. Blended by AJ Fernandez, and the price point on the cigar is $7.59, and it was released in July of 2016. So with all the details out of the way, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
My pre-light experience was overall good. Thought that the wrapper had a very leathery, like a leathery sandpaper, fine sandpaper-like quality to it. Veins well pressed, seems tight. Bunching and rolling feels well done, as there was a structured give to the entire cigar with no soft spots felt. Head finish off with a thick wall applied double cap. Nosing experience. Nosing the wrapper, I got a mixture of pungent barnyard and white pepper. Nosing the foot, got cedar, white pepper, and barnyard. And the cold draw was namely dry cardboard and cedar. So overall, a good rating.
Yeah, the wrapper is medium brown, lighter shade around the veins. It makes them easily visible. Seams are only really visible due to the vein markings. There's a neatly applied double cap, two bands, primary Hoyo band, which is very similar to the Cuban brand, except for the logo, and secondary AJ Fernandez band that's being used on a few other cigars that he's involved with. The aroma from the wrapper is a decent amount of barnyard. Foot aroma is leather, lightly sweet hay. Pre-light draw is more of that leather and lightly sweet hay that I was getting from the foot. And there's also a really light spicy tingle that I was getting on my lips. So getting into flavor, first third to final third, what was your experience like?
Starting with the first third, upon initial light and the first few draws, it was dominantly wood and pepper flavors. So I got black pepper mixed with light cream and generic dry wood. I felt like there was a prominent residual spicy heat in a form of like a dry seeded jalapeno lingering on the entire palate. So heat in the sense of so with that said, heat in the sense of when you taste the heat, but you still taste the flavors. So it's a good kind of heat. Through the retro, got stinging and pungent black pepper, followed by some dry nuttiness. Body is at a consistent medium, while strength is somewhere in between medium full. Moving on to the second third, I'm going to combine the second and last third together because I had the exact same experience on the last two thirds. So speaking on behalf of the second and last third, I felt like there's a decrease in spice. So that allowed the wood notes to move up. Specifically, I got notes of charred wood, black pepper, and light cream. There's also a new note of charred coffee beans. And that was good because it kind of gave it like a greater depth of earthiness. On the retro, still the same. Still very stinging black pepper and dry nuts. Finish comprised of lingering dry seeded jalapenos and charred wood. Body still at the medium mark, and strength somewhere between medium full. So overall, flavor profile is the takeaways is wood and pepper dominant, and with other tiers on the very like a second tier, less noticeable notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, initial draws for me brought some peppery cedar with a slight hint of cocoa in the background. After a few draws, that cocoa went away, and a very full peppery cedar remained. About half an inch in, that pepper began to mellow out a bit, and there was also hints of cream that were beginning to pop in on a draw from time to time. At an inch in, that pepper mellowed some more, and it became pretty even with the cedar. There was still a little bit of cream that was present intermittently. The retrohale was primarily cedar with some cream in the background, and that's kind of how the first third finished for me. And the strength level was slightly above medium. Getting into the second third, pepper had moved into the background, and the cedar had transitioned to a dry oak. And then a quarter inch in, pepper was now completely gone, and the profile was just a dry oak, and the retrohale was also dry oak. 3/4 of an inch in, some bitterness joined in with that dry oak, and then at an inch in, a little bit of cream came in to kind of break up the dryness a bit. As the third was coming to a close, that cream went away and that bitterness increased along with that very dry oak. And the strength had dropped down a little bit to be right at medium. And then final third, the bitterness was just very prominent. At 1/2 inch in, the profile is still primarily bitterness, dry oak in the background. I did a purge at the 3/4 inch mark, and some of that bitterness went away. But the cigar finished with kind of dry oak more up front and a little bit of bitterness in the background, and that strength stayed kind of at that medium level for me. So getting into performance, burn and draw, what was your experience like?
Um, the burn was really good. The total time that I smoked a cigar was hour and 45 minutes, so good burn performance. Burn line for the most part, pretty razor sharp. Ashes held on fairly tight, averaging about an inch increments. The draw was just, I rated it good. I felt like the draw was a little loose for my liking. It was, very effortless, and it was still a good draw, but it was too effortless. I usually like to have some sort of resistance to it. So, but even with that said, the cigar never burned hot. It burned fairly even. So, performance-wise, it didn't have any issues.
Right. Yeah, at the end of the second third, there was a portion of the wrapper that didn't want to burn for me, but it didn't really have an effect on the overall burn. And the burn was, pretty sharp at all the other times for the cigar. And similar to you, the ash held on for me in 1 inch increments. So it was a very good burn for me. In regards to the draw, I thought it was perfect. Had just the right amount of resistance that I like. I didn't have any issues, so it was spot on for me. So what were your overall thoughts on the cigar?
So a couple of thoughts. For one thing, I thought it was an average cigar. And when I say that, what's average for me? Average for me, such as this, is a cigar that is fairly linear in flavors. Not a lot of nuances, not a lot of complexities and transitions, such as this guy, but not a bad cigar because the flavor profile of what I got, which is namely what is spice dominant, were good and were tasty, but it kind of you kind of bored of it, right?
Hmm.
But that also as to say this is another shining example of the fact that I don't think AJ ever makes a bad cigar.
Mhm.
I don't feel like he makes any spectacular cigars, but he makes a lot of just average to good cigars, and they're consistent in
Mhm.
that sense. So I could see a lot of folks enjoying this cigar. But for me, I thought it was average. I would smoke it again, right? I mean, just because it says average doesn't mean that I don't want to smoke it again.
Right.
But yeah, just a average Joe kind of a cigar for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the cigar started with a decent amount of peppery cedar and then kind of eased up from there. Kind of getting the second, third, it became drying, and then some of that bitterness came in. It was prominent at times. I'd like to revisit this cigar just to see if I get that same experience. Try to see if that bitterness goes away, and maybe get some more flavor transitions through the second and final thirds. Um, if I do try it, and I get that same experience, then I wouldn't really see myself going back to this cigar. Performance was really good as expected. I mean, everything that AJ does is built well, so they always perform well. But I need a better flavor profile to kind of keep me interested in the cigar. So this one, I'll say it's average as well. But for me, an average cigar isn't necessarily one that I'm going to chomp at the bit to go back and have another one. There's too many good cigars out there to spend a bunch of time revisiting average cigars. So this was a bit of a miss for me, but I'm willing to give it another shot to see if I get another option without all the bitterness that was in there. So getting the scores, you gave it a 5.47. I gave it a 5.87. How do you think your score matches up with your experience?
Matches up well. I mean, all along within our scoring system, us saying 5 is an average.
Yeah.
And me just talking about how just an average cigar. Fits that mark perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine is a good representation. I think it, definitely the performance helped it to get higher up above that 5 point mark. I would put this more of an average or slightly below average just based on flavor profile. But obviously you have to tie in a little bit of performance aspect as well. So yeah, I mean, a bit of a miss for me. I know there's some people out there that are saying that they really enjoy this. But I don't know. Everything you put out can be a home run. So, AJ puts out a lot of good cigars. So, it's okay if it's okay if they don't all make it at that level. But, maybe not this one for me. So, any final thoughts from you?
Kind of going back to like what I was saying earlier on how I felt like it was such a linear cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I think what would really help this cigar if I tasted like sweetness, like
Mm-hmm.
every time I have a cigar that's just spice and wood, I always feel like there's that it's almost like cooking, right? Like you have the best ingredients when you're cooking something,
Right.
but if you're not putting any salt in your food,
Yeah,
to kind of accentuate everything else,
right.
You missed a mark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I feel about this cigar.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to check us out on the website, developingpalates.com, to read the full written review. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and be sure to follow us on all the other social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next video.